When the president delivers his first State of the Union address tomorrow night, much of the focus is expected to be on his sweeping tax reform bill. We've heard from big corporations praising reform and passing along tax benefits to workers. What about small businesses? Joining me now is Linda McMahon, administrator of the Small Business Administration. Thank you so much for joining us. So what about that? We have heard from big businesses. How is it impacting small businesses?
Well, it's clearly having a very positive effect, Melissa, on small businesses. You know, I've been touring the country since, well, it's been almost a year now that I've been in this position, but I started my touring last May. And all I heard from small businesses was they wanted to see regulatory relief and tax reform. And now that that is in place, we've already seen the benefits from regulations being lifted, and now tax reform is in place, and every business, to a single one that I spoke to, said that they would invest in their company, whether they were having more hires, they were raising wages, providing more benefits, producing more goods and services. The proof's in the pudding now, but I have every confidence that those small businesses are going to do exactly as they said they were going to do with these tax cuts.
Talk to us a little bit about what within the regulatory burden has been lifted. I mean, what are some specifics that you can point to for small businesses?
It's more about the volume of regulations because, you know, small businesses, the CEOs are, you know, they're the CEO, but they can also be the janitor, the accountant, the receptionist, and every other thing. And so when they have to focus on regulatory compliance, much of which they don't even know about, it takes away opportunities for them to do their jobs and to grow their businesses. So rather than any specific regulatory reform, what I've heard most often is, while they wouldn't point to any particular reform, they just said, wow, we just have so much less now to respond to in terms of regulations. We're really able to focus more on our businesses.
And do they make the connection that that's related to Washington and to the administration?
Absolutely. They are so grateful. You know, President Trump really mandated that for every new regulation that was going to be put in place, 2 had to be taken away. So he far exceeded that by 22 to 1. And I think that speaks volumes to what's been happening to grow businesses across our country.
You know, a lot of people say it's that this tax cut and this tax plan was about the very rich. I mean, you've heard that talking point. Corporations and the very rich on the backs of the middle class and everyone else. You know, it seems like it would include those people that you're talking about that are in the corner store themselves and are doing every single job except maybe one. I mean, I guess they wouldn't have seen the tax relief necessarily already. Do they feel confident that it's coming in spite of the fact that there's a lot of talking points out there saying it's not coming?
Well, they're very confident that it's coming. I mean, you know, we're looking at about, what, $5.5 trillion in tax cuts, and about $3.2 trillion of that, 60%, is going to middle-income families and small businesses. That's going to make a significant impact. Small businesses are going to be able to deduct 20% off their taxable income before they even get into the reduced tax brackets that are going to give them even greater benefits. So this is a win-win.
I hope that's true. I mean, I talked to some people who gave up on their business at the beginning of the year, and I tried to explain what was coming in terms of those deductions and the relief. And they kind of got out at exactly the wrong time. Real quick, what's the most surprising thing you've seen in your first year on the job?
I have been incredibly impressed by the enthusiasm and the optimism all across the country from small businesses when they were anticipating regulatory reform and tax reform. They were so anxious to get started. And in SBA, quarter over quarter, first quarter, we are up about 18–20% in loans in our 7A programs, indicating that that optimism is real, because those are requests for loans for small businesses to start. Yes, for investment.
To expand, and they have to believe the revenue is coming in order to do it. Linda McMahon, thank you. Thanks for your time. Good luck to you. Thank you.